I don't know if I'm doing this right or not, but yeah, I've like what is this like 14, 15 shows into the thing, and I still can't get some of these things right. I hope I clicked the right thing, but anyways, uh, good morning, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of the morning show, the official morning show. My name is Elliot Rodriguez. You can see my name right here, and I will be your host for today. I have a really good show for you. I have uh, a creator who I admire a lot. His work has been very, very impressive, and anyways, we're going to get a chance. I'm going to get a chance to sit down and talk to him, and then talk with everything about his creative process. And I look forward to it a lot. And yeah, just also I wanted to give everyone in the chat, or just everyone watching this at home or in your car, on the bus, wherever you may be at, just a small update on what I'm doing. I have this video right here. It's called Four Things I Reveal About My Comic. I would like for you to check it out. And but in the video, I give you just a quick rundown of all the things that I plan to reveal in reference to my comic. I keep saying my comic because I have not announced what the name of it is yet. I haven't announced a lot of things about that, but I will once I set up a date for that. And yeah, I'm just moving along with the artwork on it. I am currently inking page 2. I have also finished a concept art for the bad guy. If you saw last week's show, I was working when I was talking with Joe. I was working on a piece for one of the bad guys, and I've since finished that, and now I'm jumping on page 2, and I'm just moving along, trying to get these 10 pages done, and the other concept art pieces that I have in mind. And a lot of it I cannot reveal yet, so I'm very sorry if I haven't had any art videos recently. I'll try to have some more this week. Maybe I can do a behind the art or your art sucks video, one of those things. But yeah, so that's all I wanted to let you know. I'm going to say hello to the people in the chat. I have Mike, who is a fan of Genuine Comics. He says hello, Mastermind Dave and Mr. Rodriguez Art. What's going on, man? I'll be starting work at the time as this, but I'll catch it on replay. Have a good show. Thank you very much, Mike. I really appreciate it. Thank you for stopping by. Yeah, I hope you like the show, and I have a lot of questions to ask Dave. And Dave is in the chat also. He's in 2 places at once. Nice. And my sister's here. Hey, how you doing? What's going on, Lisa? Hi, I'm glad to see you back. I hope you're doing better from your allergies. Please get that checked out. And I'll get back to you in that video thing. My wife is here. How you doing? How you doing, the love of my life? And always a pleasure to see my wife. And then Dave is saying hello. Amanda B, how you doing? Good morning. Good to see you. And yes, so without further ado, I'm going to bring on my guest. So please, a big round of applause for Mr. Dave Brink. Hey, here we are. How you doing, Dave?
Thank you. Thank you. Oh,
Thank you
I'm
very
good,
much
man.
for
How are
coming.
you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing very good. Yeah, excited to have you on the show. And I think I should go ahead and tell everybody in the chat that this is going to be a genuine comics month here on the morning show, because after Dave, not next week, but the week after that, I'm going to have Eric Hodson on the show also.
Yes.
I'm going to have Eric, and we're going to continue talking about American Bliss and talk about his art. And then after that, I'm going to have Michael Odin on the
Damn.
show. So wait, I wasn't supposed to announce that. We'll see if he can come on, because he's looking at the schedule thinking, but hopefully we can get him on the show. I need
Maybe.
to
Yeah,
edit
yeah.
that
He's
out.
very busy.
Yeah, he's a very busy guy. Yeah. So
Is
yes,
my sound good,
and
by the
yeah.
way?
Excuse me.
Is my sound good? I always doubt my mic, but I don't know.
I hear you
Oh,
perfectly.
all
If
right. Okay.
anybody can you hear me perfectly?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So yeah, because that's always a doubt. But yeah. So if you don't mind, Dave, go ahead and start with this round of questions, because I got a lot. I'm going to start off with the beginning. How did you get into comics? When did this whole journey of comic book making start for you? Like, when did you start? When did you get into comics? When did it become a hobby or a passion for you?
Um, uh, the first the first part was the reading part. I was a fan of comic books. In Europe, we had these European comic books, these albums. So it was different from the superhero genre that you guys have, right? And I read things like the Donald Duck, and so these
Yeah.
it started there. So and then I came across this superhero book. It was my first ever book. It was a crossover book between uh, Superman and Spider-Man, and it was drawn by Buscema. It was
Oh,
phenomenal. It was this
yeah, like
big
the
comic.
fight that they had.
Sorry.
Like it was a big fight that they had. It was
They had,
an event.
they had a
Yeah,
little fight, and then they went on to fight the Parasite and Doctor Doom, and
nice.
it it was this big Treasury edition format book, and so this is how I discovered superheroes. I was like, "Wow!" This is this splash page of Superman. I was like, "Wow, this
Wow.
is so awesome!" And and then Spider-Man, and I was like, I wanted to know more about these characters. I had this little company here in the Netherlands that translated these American comic books, the bigger titles to Dutch. So this is how it got introduced. So the bigger titles, Batman, Fantastic Four. So I began to collect those. By the way, it took me a little while to discover that Spider-Man and Superman didn't belong in the same universe. So
Yeah.
but
Was
so
that a disappointment?
I don't know. No, not really. I was like, oh, cool. It was also my first introduction with crossovers. So I was like,
Yeah.
okay, this I didn't realize how special it was just yet, because
Yeah.
it takes a lot of legal stuff also to even make this happen.
Exactly.
Um, so yeah, and I was like, I could also draw. So from very young, I began to trace these comics, these muscles, and these like John Byrne art. I began to
Yeah.
trace
Wow.
it, and later on Jim Lee, and I wanted to also be able to draw, and I could draw, so I wanted to be an artist, and at some point, much later, I even solicited art to Marvel.
Oh
Uh,
wow.
yeah, and I got this polite letter back, like, yeah, you're pretty good, but you need some training here and there, and so yeah. Uh,
Wow.
and
Was
then
that like sometime in the 90s?
in the
Like
ninth,
in the
yeah,
mail?
in the 90s, this is where Genuine Comics started in
Wow.
1994.
Wow.
Yeah,
Cool.
it was in school, and it was when Image Comics had
Nice.
began begun. What is it? Begun.
Yeah, that's correct. When Image
Right,
Comics began in that time, yeah, when
right,
they
began.
began.
Yes. So and I was in this creative school. It was a school for advertisements. So we had to learn a lot of creative crafts. So many creative people there, and also people that like comic books. And I made this little flyer, like, who would like to make comics with me, and I just hang it up there in the school, and I hang it
Wow.
at some comic book stores. All right, you got it right here, and people actually responded. So we were when we started with like 6 or 7 people, students, all students, and we decided to build our own superhero universe.
Wow.
Yeah.
This was in high school?
Yes.
Nice. Wow.
Yes. So we went to conventions. We made some books, but it was very amateurish. We didn't really. We just
Are,
tried
are,
to copy the things, the things that we saw, but we didn't really have the resources or the funds so we all collected money together
Mhm.
to to make this to print these comic books that we made. And we made some titles all in Dutch. We sold
Wow.
them at conventions, and but it was very small scale. It was just basically us getting into it and building this universe. Yeah.
Nice. Are you are any of those artists or people that you work with are still working in at Genuine, or any of the
Um,
people?
I'm the only one of the group still left with Jamie Comics. There is one person called Roland. He does animation, and he does
Nice.
sometimes he does color work for Genuine. But
Wow.
besides that, everyone else went on to do different things.
Nice.
Um, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. And are any of those ideas that you created back in those times still current with Genuine Comics?
Oh yeah. Yes. It's a bit of a mixture between things that I had back then. For instance, the Perfect 10 series that originated in the
From back
90s.
then? Oh wow.
Yeah, that originated back then, but
Nice.
it was completely different. So the Perfect 10 we have right now is at the core the same concept that I had back then, only it got completely reworked. Um,
Nice. Updated, I would say, no? For the
yeah, so the main character completely changed. I had two main characters in the beginning. Now combined them to one, and several key elements change, but the core idea that you had this artificial assassin assassin who now has to run from the villains that she once hunted.
nice.
That's still the same. Yeah.
Man, that's awesome. You had that concept way back in the day.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. And
But there were so many ideas. It's very easy to come up with ideas, but to actually produce them, that's a completely another level, man. So we
yeah,
just didn't have the money to do it. Yeah.
awesome. That's not that's awesome. And um uh
So this cover is colored by Roland, one of the previous Genuine members.
oh wow. Nice. And that's awesome. He does really good work. Hey, did he do colors for the
No,
entire
no, it
book?
was
Or
it was
just for this
only
cover?
yes, only the guest colorist for the cover. Yeah.
Nice. I also wanted to ask you what is the comic scene in Europe like? I've heard for example of like European comics having a different style from American comics. I hear references to French comics a lot because of their
Oh
artists.
yeah.
But how do you how would you describe the European scene of comics for someone who has no idea what it's like? For example, do you guys have local comic book shops, or is it like you buy it at a grocery store? Um, could you
No,
tell us?
no, no. We used to be able to buy books at the grocery store, superhero books also, but that's years ago. We do have comic book stores. The bigger cities have them, um, and they mostly sell these Franco-Belgian comics, so European style albums. These are bigger books, and usually they are unlike the American format. They have one story. So, like for instance, everyone knows Asterix or Tintin, and this is one story with familiar characters. Um, so that's basically how they do it here. They have long form storytelling also, but it's
They have a what?
always
I'm sorry.
long
Okay,
form
okay.
storytelling, right? Okay, and
Which is like comic strips.
no, it's like multiple issues.
Ah, okay, okay. Okay.
Yeah, but these take a longer time to produce. These are bigger than American books, because these are basically made. The books that we made, they used to be like they called it pulp, pulp
Yeah, pulp. Awesome.
entertainment. Very very cheap to produce, very quick. So every month you needed this new issue. And these European books, these people take their time. So every year or so, you get a new album or or every 2 years even.
So it's not
Um,
on a monthly. It's not a monthly issue type of thing.
no, no,
Oh, oh
no.
wow. And the demand, for example, for these comics is always consistent. Like, I mean, you people actually wait 1 year for the next story to come out.
Well, I don't think it's really consistent because
Okay.
things happen, and many people also do this at the side, so it's not their main job.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, yeah. The market here in the Netherlands is not big enough to support creators, Dutch creators.
Oh
But for
wow.
instance, the market in France, that's very big.
Okay.
Belgium is also big. So in Belgium you have also Dutch language books. So whatever you produce here in Dutch, you can also sell over the border into Belgium. But at some point you need to start translating your comics to reach a bigger audience.
Mm.
So the Dutch market is very small. Yeah. So this is why my own books are English.
Is there they're not translated in Dutch?
No, no, it's
Oh
not
wow.
worth it. No, sometimes people
Yeah, yeah,
ask about it at conventions. They don't like reading English, especially the older generation.
yeah,
And I have to disappoint them. No, sorry. Maybe one day when I collect them in
yeah.
collected editions, I can make Dutch issues. That would be great.
Nice. Well, yeah, because that is also another labor because one thing is to have, like, for example, you're setting up a joke or you're setting up a suspense scene or an action scene, and there's certain language and dialogue that you use to help also convey that idea, and then having to translate that into another idea and give the same impact. It's
Yes.
difficult. It's difficult because I'm also going through that with another comic strip that I did when I was younger. The name is Gino and Shorty. It's
Oh,
like a Sunday. It's like a Sunday comic strip, and I'm getting back into making more stories of those. But this time I was thinking it would be nice to have it in Spanish also for any possible audience that I could
yes.
find here. And,
Right.
and so translating that, I've translated 2 pages, and it's really difficult. It's just you also have to find like the precise word to give this specific idea or this specific impact, and it is a challenge.
Oh yeah,
But excellent.
yeah. I
Yeah,
know, man. There is now this new company here in the Netherlands, and they started to translate American comics. So we
yeah.
now have like Avengers in Dutch,
In Dutch,
but
nice.
the translation is just awful. It's terrible. It's just like they ran it
Yeah,
through
yeah,
Google Translate or something.
yeah,
It
yeah, yeah.
sucks.
That's also a problem. Yeah, yeah. Awesome. What are your top five favorite writers? What writers stood out in the time that you were reading comics? Which ones
Uh,
popped up for you?
John Byrne and Chris Claremont. Those were my favorites. Yeah, in that period, I I wasn't often familiar with the writer names, often because I,
Yeah.
I wanted to be on artist. I never really considered the writers much, which is
Oh,
strange
wow.
because you read the story and later on you're like, wow, that was a fantastic story.
Yeah.
But that's the writing element, but um, and later on, like people like Eric Larson, we
Yeah.
like his work, and Robert Kirkman. He's a huge influence on my own
Yeah.
work.
Nice. Are there any specific storylines from those writers or any other storyline that you've read that you would recommend or that you think are just really must read stories?
Yes, the Fantastic Four run by John Byrne.
Oh,
It's
nice.
it's
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
almost flawless. And it went on for years, man.
Yeah.
It's a huge collection. If you can get all the trades. I
Yeah.
saw that their Marvel is this month or next month. They are releasing this omnibus from the
Oh,
Fantastic
really?
Four by John Byrne.
Oh,
I can recommend that to anyone, man. It's
wow.
fantastic.
Oh, that would be great. Yeah, that would be great. Yeah, I hear so much about John Byrne. I've read a few of his stories, but good stuff. Good stuff. And what was the last? You mentioned Kirkman, which is more
Yes.
recent, and is that about the time that you stopped reading mainstream? Could you tell us at what moment you stopped reading mainstream comics and started
Yeah.
looking more towards the indie scene?
I stopped. Oh wow, that's a long time ago. I stopped around the time that World War Hulk began. Around
Oh
that
wow,
time.
2008.
Yeah, yeah. I think about that. I think around that time, I still collected a few series like the Savage Dragon in trades, and
Yeah,
I collected Invincible and I collected The Walking Dead, and those were the last series that I held on to, and the rest I didn't care much about
nice.
anymore. The art was just changing. The stories didn't appeal to me much anymore, and especially this after this entire 90s aesthetic. That was my thing, and comics were drifting further and further away from that, and they began to look very safe. Um, and it, and then you had comics like Invincible, which was like spectacular superhero, action-packed material, cool story, and that was completely my jam. And when that ended, that basically also meant that I stopped reading anything.
Wow.
For now, I sometimes still buy books when I can find them, but most of the time these are titles that I never heard of. I'm just this
Yeah,
looks cool. Let's give it a try.
nice.
But nothing from DC or Marvel.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, yeah. I've been that way also for a long, long time. Just really upset, disappointed more than anything. Though disappointed
Yeah,
that of the decisions that they're making and where they're going with their stories.
yeah. There was
Um,
this little revival period from DC. They had this they had a few new titles like
yeah,
Damage and The Silencer.
yeah,
Um, So I picked those up, those first issues, just to check out new stuff, because when you have DC, everything revolves around Batman, and
yeah,
just tiresome, man. I
yeah, yeah,
don't want to see any more Batman. So then they had that new stuff, like wow, this Damage character, he's a bit like the Hulk, but he isn't, and so I needed to
yeah,
check that out. The art looked nice, but
yeah.
I think they also didn't do much with these characters afterwards.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they use them over and over again. People are getting tired and fatigued, and yeah, looking for new things. No, and
Yeah, the
yeah,
same the
good,
same
good
with
stuff.
yeah the same with Wolverine. I don't need to see Wolverine in every book,
Yeah,
not at
yeah.
all.
I wanted to say hi to some of the people that just entered the
Yeah,
chat. We'll say hi to Hojo. I don't know if I say hi to you. What's going on, Hojo? Thank you very much for stopping by.
Hojo.
Hojo is going to be a guest next week to talk about his comic, which is signing up. I think, if I'm not mistaken. And he
Cool.
says, "Looks I'm in good company this month, surrounded by superstars." Yeah. 80s is also here. How you doing, 80s? Good to have you here. Thank you very much for stopping by.
80s.
And Yehojo says event fatigue killed mainstream comics for him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's also another thing. Like in the last maybe like 10, 20 years, has been like everything has been events. Secret Wars, Crisis. There's a whole bunch of
Yeah.
things, and then everything renews after like 4 or 5 years. And yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah. It's also the notion that nothing eventually matters because everything will be reset,
yeah,
and characters will never die, and at some point it's just like who cares anymore.
yeah.
So,
Yes. Hey, just one more question that I had in that reference to that time. Is there any '90s artists or any artists that or what are your favorite artists in the time that you've been reading comics?
Joe Madureira,
Yeah, yeah,
absolutely. Mark Silvestri, Jim Lee. There was this guy called Scott Clark. I loved Scott Clark's work, man. And he was
Scott. Yeah,
he was more like this villain artist. He was brought in later on, while
yeah,
series were already going on. But his work is phenomenal. Um, and let me see, Roger Cruz. Roger Cruz was basically
uh-huh.
a Madureira clone in the beginning.
Yeah.
But he had this different style to him that I liked, and he brought this over to Youngblood also. I liked this cartoony work. Um, yeah, those yeah, John Byrne is always a favorite. I loved Eric Larson's art.
Yeah.
I still like it. It's nowadays it's a bit more sketchy. It's less
Yeah.
refined than it was before, but it's still good. The basics still work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there, like for example, I heard a comment about that a while back, in reference also to Silvestri and his new book, that it looks a lot sketchier than it did like back in the late '80s, early '90s.
Yeah, a lot of
And I
headshot.
don't know. I think I get this impression that these artists are at a point in their career where they're like they don't have to like do things refined. They can just kick back and enjoy themselves and just do things a little bit more loosely than they normally would,
Right.
which I guess is great. No, I mean artists and writers constantly evolve, and yeah, I guess it's part of
Yeah, but
the
sometimes
process.
sometimes they change style in such a direction that I lose interest. This
Yeah.
happened with Mike Deodato Jr.
Oh yeah.
I
Okay.
loved his older
His early
work,
stuff.
and at some point he started to reference real life actors and use very heavy shading,
Yeah.
and that was about the time that I checked out of his art style.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. There's also a change. I had his name on the tip of my tongue. Oh man, I just had his name. Art Adams also had a style
Mm,
change a little bit. Some of his earlier work compared to some of his work now is not exactly the same.
right.
Yeah, I don't know how you would describe it, but yeah, me personally, I like all of his work. I think his artwork now is great, but there has been a style change. It's at some point, from earlier on and
Right.
to now. And Tart Ninja, how you doing? Thank you very much for stopping by. I really appreciate you, and
Hello,
saying hello to
Tartan.
everybody. And so now let's go into genuine comics. Where did the name come from? And also, could you tell us who was your first IP? Because in the genuine comics universe, you have several stories. I'll try to take
Yeah.
a look at some of them, but where did it start? Who was your first character, and where did you get the name from? What was the inspiration for the name Genuine Comics?
The name Jamin Comics. It was basically because I needed I needed this name very quickly. I was like I wanted to look professional, so I made this ad for school to look for other students who want to make comics with me. And I was like, what should I call this? And my English wasn't that advanced yet.
Yeah,
So and I just liked the word genuine because it means authentic, and I wanted to stay true to what I liked. So I was like, you know what, Jamie Comics, it sounds good. So and I can always change it later. That was
yeah,
my thought, and it never changed. So yeah, that was it basically. So no
awesome.
no spectacular story behind that name. And my first character, the first one that I published in English, that was like 8 years back, was called Earthling. That was I
Nice.
consider that the first character for the revival of Jamie Comics, uh, when I wanted to do it on this global scale, international. Yeah, Earthling. Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, in
This is
case
from
anybody's curious, yeah, in case
yeah.
anybody's curious, all these things that I'm sharing are from the Genuine Comics website. You can check them out. I have the link in the description. You can take a look at all the comics that Dave is mentioning, just in case. I'm sorry, Dave. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, I was just saying this started in 2014, and I produced this comic with the help of Kickstarter, and it finished
Nice.
in 2015. And so that was my first ever experience with crowdfunding. Also, that was the only reason I could even make this book, make this series. Yeah.
You say that the series is finished?
No, it's not finished. We're now at 4 issues, so 4 issues
Okay.
are done. Are And I want to make 2 more issues. I just had to focus on the titles that we have right now. I think Earthling um, uh, is great. I love Earthling, the concept, but I think like titles like American Bliss or Perfect 10, they appeal to a broader audience. Um, and then later on, I could go back to Earthling to finish that series.
Exactly.
That was the plan, because it was very difficult to make a new book. I had to find something that had broader appeal for
Nice.
right now. Yeah.
And I assume that all of the characters in genuine comics, like this is a shared universe, and I think it's evident with some of the crossover titles that you've produced. Is that correct to say so? That it's a shared universe?
Yes.
Eh, Is there um excuse my ignorance in case I may be asking the incorrect question, but are you planning, or has there been an Avengers style threat, Avengers level threat in genuine comics? Like, do you have those big events, or have you had a big event, or are you planning a big event in your universe?
I don't really have it planned yet. I basically want to establish every character right now, so that's my focus. So I wanted to make every individual character work within their own little island within this universe. So they
Yeah,
have their own story going on. I wanted to finish the story from Perfect 10. I want to finish the story from American Bliss and from Earthling. And after that, then we can maybe think about doing actual crossovers. I don't think crossovers are as interesting when people don't even know the characters. So
that's
so
exactly
this
true.
this
Yeah,
takes time, you know.
exactly. Yeah, I was speaking with Dojo in his interview earlier, and he mentioned the same thing, and he's taking the exact same approach. He's establishing his characters first,
Hmm.
and then later he's going to think about doing a big crossover series. Awesome. So the same thing is with in your case. No, you're going to plan it out first, and then do the crossover. That
Yeah, we
sounds great. I'll be looking forward to that also.
yeah, we
And
did we did one crossover story, by the way, with
yeah,
another publisher.
with Perfect 10, I think it was.
Yeah, Perfect 10 and Camilo Wallace by creator
Yeah,
named Andre Lille. And so this is a crossover between different companies, right?
companies. Yeah,
And I did this earlier with Arctic Press also. They have this high school ninja series,
yeah.
and Earthling crossed over with them also in the shorter story. Um, but but no real crossovers within Genuine Comics just yet. No.
Within just yet. Awesome. Um, and considering that you have an established comic book name, you have a set of characters, and and now, for example, you're expanding with American Bliss with Eric Hodson and Michael Odom. Uh, um, is it safe to say that you're taking submissions, or are you looking to expand, like by forming or collecting, or I'm sorry, forming other teams of artists and writers? Can someone who's interested maybe in working for Genuine Comics, can they submit something to
Oh yeah,
you?
I get submissions almost weekly,
Oh,
and
nice.
I wish I could work with everyone, but it's I have this limited amount of time and resource that I can invest in certain titles. So I need to see which titles have priority right now. So I want this one, I want this one, I want this one, and then for each one, I try to find a creative team that works for that specific title. So this is why Pau and Daniel are the standard team on
Yeah,
Perfect 10, and Michael and Eric will be the standard team for American Bliss. So every title needs their own look. Um, yeah.
nice, nice, nice. That's awesome. And how did you come across, or how did you find these? artists and writers? Like, where do you go for to look for these creative people?
Nowadays it's not really that difficult. I know so many people now, and I'm like I wanted to work with this person sometime, and this person, or they come to me, and I just happen to have a script for a shorter story, and I'm like okay, I have something that might work for you. So nowadays it's not so that difficult, but in the beginning it was quite the quest to make things happen. I had to find which people are dependable, um, which people have the quality that I am looking for. Which people will also you have some artists who will just see it as this gig, which is cool, and you have some artists who actually make it their own. This is their project also, and they express that. So they want others to buy the book that they worked on, and I really prefer that when it's a team effort, um, when everyone feels involved in the project and in the book, um, and these people I tend to return to. So I now have this core group of
Yeah,
artists and writers that I continuously go back to for new projects because I know them, I trust them, and they are also happy to promote the books. Um, but I like to expand that. Yeah.
awesome. And would it be safe to say that Perfect 10 is your primary, is like your flagship title? Is that okay to say?
I think it turned out that way. There are other titles that I I think are just as good, but Perfect Ten just happened to be the one that caught on. Um,
Okay.
and nowadays people want to check out the other titles also, the older books, because they know Perfect Ten, which is great because I have this title called Dream Girl Sleeper Agent, for instance, and I really
Yeah.
want to continue with that one. I think that's a very strong concept also. Um, so
Let me share that.
if Perfect 10 is the title that most people know me from, um, but I try to make every book that we produce is from a concept that I think is good enough, strong enough to have their own book, because I have like 50 concepts, so some of them need work before you can even begin to think about giving them their own title.
Exactly. Awesome. Yeah. Here, if anybody's curious, this is a Dream Girl. Again, this is on Genuine Comics' website. How you doing, WD Smith? What's going on? Good to see you. Thank you for
Hello,
stopping by.
WD.
Yep. And and yeah. Um, I guess one question that I wanted to ask you is, how does it feel, or what was your sensation or reaction when you got the award from Critical Blast for Best Comic of the Year? I think it was for last year. Yes,
That was, yeah, for
2021.
2021. Yes,
How does that feel? What can you tell us about that experience?
that was crazy, man. It was I never in a million years expected something like that. I look, I do my best to make the best possible comic that I can make, and if I'm the writer, I wanted to give it my all. But I think that goes for everyone. So when I win this award, I'm like, how the fuck did this happen? I, I don't think I'm that special, and I always feel a little bit awkward when people bring it up because I sometimes still can't believe it. I'm very grateful. Yeah, it's a strange experience. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Look, because I personally, I think that eventually you're gonna have to own it, Dave. You're gonna have to own it and just, yes, I am the best writer.
Yeah,
Because I mean, I
sometimes.
think your work,
Yeah.
your work is great. Your work is great. For example, in my case, I came across you through those recommendations and through word of mouth and through what I've heard about Perfect Tense, specifically that book, because I think that was the book that was you were promoting at the time, and I checked it out. Um, I like the character design. I checked it out and I read the comic. I backed this recent campaign with episode 3 of issue 3 of A Perfect 10. And yeah,
Hmm.
everything that I've heard about it, it was true. You have a very, very great way of writing, setting up action pieces, interweaving things into the stories, into your stories. And there's no panel wasted.
Yeah,
There's no element of the story that you present that isn't used later, and you just have wonderful payoff. And I also want to commend you on your creation of the Rogues Galleries. You have an immense, like just
yeah,
a crazy imagination that you have to create all these wonderful characters. Um, like
yeah,
for
yeah. You know, the
example,
thing is, some of these characters, yeah, but you have like for instance, there's this one character called Morbid, and she's very fat, and she can shoot her own body
Fat
fat.
yeah.
Like she heats it up, and she shoots it. And I created her in the 90s, and now finally she appears in this book, and I'm like,
Wow.
how did no one else come up with this in these last 25 years?
Yeah.
I just didn't get
Yeah,
it.
yeah. And then the other character, I'm not sure what his name was. Name is. I drew him even, but he's the old man that's got the diseases on him, and then he touches people, and he gives them diseases.
Oh yeah, ill will.
What's Ill Will? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Anyway, what an
yeah.
awesome character.
Thank
And
you.
but my personal favorite, just by design and just the idea alone, is Chernobyl. I love that
Yeah,
character. Awesome character. I was disappointed with the second issue that I didn't see him in it. I thought we were going to get him back again, but I'm glad to see that. For example, he's coming up in the American Bliss.
yes.
And I wanted to ask you, do you believe in killing off characters, or what is your approach to that? Please tell us. You know.
Yes, but it has to mean something. So don't just kill characters for shock value, or it has to actually mean something. And sometimes there are characters that I I kind of done everything with them that I wanted within a story, so I can remove them. So that's maybe some reason to kill them. Um, but I prefer not to do it. But when it happens, it is final. So when they die, they're gone. I don't want to have this Marvel effect, like
You don't.
who
Okay.
cares? you know,
You don't want
yeah,
to bring them back.
no,
And
no,
if they come back, then you recommend, no, read the previous issue. No, read the past issue. No, read,
no.
I
They
like
won't come back. They're when they die, they're gone. And yeah, so this is why I have to think long and hard before I actually kill off a character,
nice.
because I know they're taken out of the pool of characters that I can use for future comics.
Yes. And anybody's curious, this is Chernobyl. He's this big robot with
Yes.
radiation. And he shoots radiation. Awesome character. Is that influenced by any chance from? I'm assuming it's directly from the Chernobyl accident. Yes.
Oh no, no, not really. His initial design was completely different.
Oh
Was
wow.
He was this skinny dude, and then later on, I began to think about what if this guy has his armor and lives inside because he's pure energy. And I don't think, essentially, the concept is very original, but it's what you do with it. It's like the skull in this glass
Yeah, I love
dome.
it.
It has been done before, but this is how we do it, and he seems to be very popular. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Yeah, I love Chernobyl. And yeah, we got Odin in the house. What's going on, Odin? How you
Hey,
doing?
Odin.
Good morning. And we also have Christopher. What's going on, Christopher? Good to see you, man. Appreciate you coming by,
Christopher.
taking a look at Genuine Comics. And now, speaking of Chernobyl, and he makes an appearance in this in your latest crowdfunding comic called American Bliss. And
Yes.
I think it's only fair if we start looking into the world of Bliss by checking out the trailer, which I thought was really
Oh,
cool.
cool.
And just give me a second. Let me set this up.
The trailer was put together last minute by Eric Hodson.
I thought it was great. It looked
Yeah,
great.
the last day we still needed this trailer, and he churned it out in one day, man. It was fantastic.
Sweet. Could you please also confirm if you can hear this? Because I don't know if you can hear this or not.
All right.
Can you hear this?
No.
No, man.
No.
Give me a second. I didn't. Yeah, the trailer's good. Let me see if I can.
But yeah, Odin and Eric, they're doing great, man. They're doing awesome work on this book. So Odin wrote the story. Michael Odin was the one who wanted to make this book.
Oh man, yeah, I was gonna jump into that. Let's see if we can watch the video. Hopefully,
Sure.
let's see. Check it out. Can you hear now?
Yeah, I hear it now. Yes.
America has a new hero, and she kicks butt. Join American Bliss in her exciting first issue as she finds her way as the new champion of freedom.
Sweet.
Woo! Yes.
Yeah, I love it. That's awesome stuff, man. And so I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. I wasn't trying to interrupt you, but you were mentioning that it was Michael's idea to do work on American Bliss.
Yeah. To write this story.
Okay.
So American Bliss got introduced in Power Trip, which is a anthology book with shorter stories, and I just wanted her established in this universe. So this one story that I made together with Power, that was my only story that I had planned for American Bliss. And then I was talking with Michael Odin if he was interested in writing something for Genuine Universe. And he was like, yeah, this character. So and he came up with the story that he pitched to me, this concept, and I was like, okay, that sounds great, man. We should do this. So Michael Odin is the one who initiated this series.
Nice. So when he initiated, from that moment, you inserted her into the anthology, I think, and then
No,
now
the anthology came before that. So
first,
Michael knew her from that book.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. And this is going to be an ongoing series also, right?
No, it's 5 issues.
It's just 5 issues. Okay.
Yeah.
And then after that, no more, or maybe
I don't know. It really depends on how well it does, I think. And if we have more. Well, Michael told me he can go on for like 20, 30 issues, no problem, But
awesome.
this first story arc is 5 issues, and after that we will have to see what we're going to do.
Awesome. And Eric is going to be on for all of the issues.
For this first arc, yes.
Nice. That's awesome. And yeah, I learned about Eric recently. I'm going to dive into his art style, his artwork and process when he comes on the show.
All right.
And but yeah, really good stuff that he's putting out. I knew about him from his own comic, Dreaded Dinosaur, and
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, good stuff, and interesting concept also. Very an original, unique design,
yeah, yeah.
and
It's a web comic. So yeah.
yeah, he's got his web comic, and we're going to get into all of that stuff when he comes on 2 weeks from now. So after this week, we'll continue with the American Bliss party,
Oh,
and
excellent.
and uh, and yes, so in this case, for example, are you how much involvement do you have in this story? That like, is there like everything goes through you first before it gets a final word on what appears in the book, or are you giving Michael free reign to do what he likes? How is that working?
I try to give everyone as much freedom as possible. This is basically Michael's story, but
Yeah.
I do the editing. So we had some conversations about some things within the script that had to be changed.
Mhm.
So it fits the universe. So it has to be connected to some other things. Um, but basically, I try to keep hands off of the story, and my job is to make sure that it just um, fits within this entire genuine universe, which we accomplished. So yeah.
Awesome. And um, and after, for example, after you finish the 5 issues, are you planning to do like a graphic novel? Are you considering doing any kind of graphic novels? Because all of the content that I've seen from Genuine has been what I would compare to like a single issue floppy. You have individual stories. Are you ever planning on maybe putting any kind of bigger volume graphic novel together sometime?
Yeah, graphic novel would be awesome to make. I will, of course, when every series is finished, I want to make a collected edition. But for
Nice.
graphic novels, the problem is that's the funding. So
Yeah, yeah,
longer
okay.
books take a lot of money, a lot of time, and so this shorter format, so the single issue format, for now works for me to keep producing regular content, regular new books. If it was possible for me to make one thicker book, I would prefer that. Yeah, but it just not feasible right now. Uh,
Exactly. And speaking of collecting funds, we have been seeing a lot of issues with Indiegogo in the last couple of days with the shadow banning, just the deleting almost obsoletely from the website certain titles. You've been affected by that
yeah.
also, and I noticed that on your website you have the option of buying the comic. And I'm just going to throw this question out to you. Would you consider crowdfunding through your own website? Is that possible? Could you use that as a means of collecting your funds and not use Indiegogo?
Well, I prefer to have one hub where everyone gathers to buy their crowdfunded books, right? So Indiegogo is a fantastic location. You can
Yeah.
find all the books there, but I think we are kind of forced to think about different means, different platforms, and besides Indiegogo, yeah, you have Kickstarter, and that's also for some people on issue. And then you have the new platform called Zoop, and
Yeah.
I don't know if that's something worth looking into just yet. And then some people are now using their own platforms to crowdfund on. So we can do this also. Um, if other people can build it, then I can also build it. But um, the problem is that it seems to me right now that's more difficult to for bigger creators
Yeah.
like Renee.
Hmm.
Irene is doing it right now.
Yeah. I think she's putting together a website.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think she
I
is.
think she can easily do it, but for me, I'm not sure. A lot of traffic to my comic books come from people who just visit Indiegogo
Yeah.
and they
Okay.
stumble upon this comic book. And so the marketing strategy will also need to be different if you crowdfund from your own website. But it's definitely something that I want to look into, because Indiegogo is just not that dependable
Recently,
anymore.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah, because I think ultimately the best thing to do is have your own channel. But as you're mentioning, though, getting traffic to that website is also an issue. That's a very good point you make.
Yeah,
And
but it means that at some point you have like 100 different crowdfunding sites, because everyone does their own thing.
yeah,
It's not really consumer friendly.
exactly.
So this
Yeah, it
is
should be just
basically
one
the thing
place.
that I'm a little bit worried about, if that's something that works in the long run, you know.
Yeah, yeah, that is true. I wonder what the solution will that be. And yeah, Odin says Michael Odin and Eric Hodgson. That's a nice pairing of talent. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I have incredible respect for both of them, as a writer and as an artist. Michael is a great writer also.
Yeah,
And
Michael brought Eric on. He was like, "Hey, I think Eric would be great for
yeah,
this series." And
sweet.
I was really like, "Yeah. This is your project. This is your thing." And now we have two Americans making this book that's really American. So yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, yeah, awesome. And then Christopher says, "Gotta love that '90s style comic art." Yeah, yeah, I love it. Yeah, and Tarn says, "Agree, I love that art style." Yeah, he's got a really good. Yeah, and just in case anybody in the chat, when he comes on in 2 weeks, we're going to be drawing. So
Ooh,
look forward to that.
awesome. By the
And
way, I updated the page before we went live, because Eric made
nice.
this pin up, which is
Oh, let's check it out.
free for all the backers, and I put it on the
Nice.
campaign page.
Let me refresh.
And he finished the pin up yesterday or the day before, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to put it up when I
He
get
was coloring it. He finally finished it. Yeah. Hold on one
he
second.
finished it. Yeah.
Show that to the people. For the people, here is on the page. This is the Indiegogo page. The link is also in the description, and this is I don't know if I can zoom out. Let me do something different. Hold on. Let's see if I can do this.
Yeah, Eric
You can
was
see the
really
whole
proud of that
image.
one. He also did the coloring and everything. So yeah.
Yeah, here's the pinup. This is free for all the backers.
Yes.
Yeah. We saw him working on this. Follow Eric, please. On Twitter, you'll see him. He posted updates of his process for this artwork. And yeah, as Dave is mentioning, everyone who backs the comic will get this, the physical comic, will get this free pinup. Sounds great.
Yep.
Awesome stuff. And so that's on the page.
Showcasing Eric's talents.
Yeah. Yeah, and this is Power Trip. This is where she first made her appearance.
Yeah, that was the first book, the first comic where the first story of American Bliss.
And yeah, I think. And one question that I'm curious about also, is there something you're very humble in saying that you're not that good, you're not or that you're humble and that you're happy that you received recognition for your writing, but is this something that I'm assuming it's something that you've practiced in the years that you've been working in comics? Is there something that's a fundamental of writing that you didn't know when you first started, but now you learned it as you were working with I'll give you an example. Like I'm starting to write my own thing,
Right.
and I've noticed that, and I was reading a book and it said that that the character has to change either for good or for bad, but they can never be stagnant and be the same as they were at the beginning. There has to be something that changes them. That's something, for example, that I learned about writing. what is it, or what, is there something that you learned about writing that you didn't know before?
Didn't know before how to write well. I think when I look back on my earlier scripts, I'm like, yeah, I would do this different right now. So with a lot of practice, you learn that you can condense things much better. So get rid of all the filler. Every panel you use can have multiple layers. So every page can have multiple layers. So you have the visual aspect, so the visual storytelling, but all the while people can also have conversations or discussions that bring a new layer to the scene. So you can tell a lot in very little space, and this is something that took me some practice in the beginning, because yeah. So that, and what else? What else? Yeah, foreshadowing. So don't just introduce something that can break the story, or that can affect the story without first hinting towards it. So sort of like to do with Dragon Ball, for instance. You have like Dragon Ball, and then someone has this mega super strength, but then suddenly the other one has something new that wasn't mentioned before, but suddenly they can do something else that only manga can do that. But you can't do that with American books. You have to explain what 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 can happen. So foreshadow things that can happen later on.
Okay, so like establishing like the rules and things of your world before you, is that what you mean?
Yeah. So it makes sense. So not just something that happens and the reader's like how the fuck is that even possible? It has to make sense. Everything that happens has to make sense. It can become really really ridiculous at some point, but you can take the reader with you the entire way, as long as you build it up towards it, uh, as the reader can. So make it believable. That's basically it. Yeah.
And in order to achieve this, I'm assuming that you write full scripts and you don't take the Marvel method approach where like you just write it as you're doing it. I'm assuming you have things like
Yeah.
well planned and prepared ahead of time.
Well, I am pretty loose with the things that happen in between all the key moments. So I know there are some major events that need to happen, some key story elements, but in between that, everything can fluctuate, and um, so I'm not really that strict, and I work towards a ending that I know. So before you write your story, your arc, you need to know where it ends, but it doesn't necessarily have to be the final ending, because when you write, you can discover new directions to go, and then you can discover,
Okay.
hey, this ending might be better. Sometimes that works also, but at least know where you're going. So don't just wander off like I I will discover my ending while we are going, because people are paying money for your book. But they help you make it, so you better know where you're going with it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Awesome. And uh, uh, this also brings me to a video you posted a few weeks ago, I think it was, where you made a change in the story of Perfect 10 issue 3,
Yeah.
and the change is going to delay the comic a little bit.
Oh yeah.
How did you come to that? How did you come to that decision? Like, I need to change this because the story is going to be much better. How did that happen? How did that situation happen? I won't
Yeah,
say
when
incident.
I was writing, so the book was basically done. It was all drawn. It was colored. So only the last few pages needed lettering still. And during the lettering process, I also go over the script to to go over the dialogue, maybe change a little bit here and there, and suddenly something. Suddenly I thought of this story elements, like what if this and this and this happened? Oh, that would be pretty cool, and just got stuck in my head. But the story was done; it was completely done. I never thought of this before. So, and the book wasn't printed yet, and I was like, oh man. And I thought about it for a few days. And then I was like, I just need to do this. I need to make these little changes to implement this new idea in there, because it will come up later. So if I do not implement it right now, it's
going to be a
some
missed
story
opportunity.
elements that I can never use again. And I really hated myself for coming up with this too late. But yeah, this happened. This happened this way, and I talked with Pau and with Daniel about it, and they were like, "Yeah, man, let's change some things up." So this means that some elements from book 3 will move over to book 4, because we're adding some pages, and other pages will be replaced. So. Yeah.
Nice. Awesome. And so if you're writing your story, you're writing your story, you have an idea in your head, you have the story set up, and like how long does that take you to do? Like, I mean, because you've had this story for a while, then you made a change to it. Now you have this other idea to it. Like, do you set a limit to, like, I need to finish the story in like a week or in a month, or it has to be done by this specific time?
Yeah, I do that, and I never manage. So I'm pretty slow. I'm pretty slow in that regard.
What's going
I'm like, hey man, I'm going to finish the script this week, and then a month later maybe I finish it. It just a very slow process for me, because I'm constantly second guessing what I do. I make constant rewrites, and before I'm finally satisfied, I'm like, okay, I have to let go now. It's going to the artist, and yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, because I'm going through that same thing also. Like, I have this story in my mind, and I'm writing it, and it's exactly true what you're saying, that as you're writing it, you get more ideas pop up in your head, and then, oh, I like this, I like that, and then you put everything down on paper. And for me, for example, like the story that I'm writing has taken me a long time. I just can't sit down to concrete events just yet. I have like 75% of the story written, but that last part, like I don't know exactly how I want it to go. So I'm writing a little bit, then I let a few days pass as I'm doing some art, then another idea will pop in my head, and it's taken me quite a while. But I don't know but you're telling me that you share something similar also in your creative process, and that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And let's see. So I would take it that the like, I guess, like the very last moment to make any kind of changes is right before you go to print. Would that be safe to say?
No, yeah, but preferably not like I did it. So what I did right now, I don't want to do that again. so best is to change stuff up while you're still in scripting mode. So nothing is drawn yet. So this came far too late in the process, but it never happened to me before. But it is what it is.
Yeah. No, I'm a fan of that. I'm in favor of that, because if you have an idea that you believe sincerely that it's better than what you had before, then go for it. And if it takes a little bit longer, then I have no problem waiting, because what you did for issue 1, what you did for issue 2, great stuff. And I look forward to issue 3. And
that's also
great stuff. Yeah.
It's also that this issue was the most difficult to write. From issue 1 and issue 2 were pretty challenging also, but this one, this is basically the bridge between what came before and the final, the grand finale. You know. Mm-hmm. So yeah, and so this bridging aspect was very challenging. So it took me some puzzling. Sometimes it's just puzzling. You need to puzzle the story together. Like this happens then, this happens then, but this can't happen before that. And so you make notes like this needs to happen there, and I need so many pages for this sequence. It is fun, but it can take a lot of time sometimes. Yeah.
Awesome. And this first arc on Perfect 10, is this also 5 issues?
Yeah. I initially wanted to end it at 4 issues, but now I am doubting maybe it needs 5.
Okay.
I will figure that out next issue. So yeah.
Awesome. And Christopher says, absolutely, I agreed. You got to have a plan as a comic writer. My problem is I have too much of a vision, so I have clear visions what could happen in issue 20, and I'm only in issue 1.
Whoa, that's very far ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome stuff, man. And I think I read through all my questions.
Right. So do you find the writing, because you want to write your own thing, right? You basically want to draw. But now you write also. Do you find it that more difficult than drawing?
I don't know how to explain, because when I got into doing art, and when I started going on Twitter, going on social media, showing off my art, I never crossed my mind that I would want to do a comic. I did when I was very young, when I was in high school, like as many other people in my class, like, hey, we should make a comic about this character. He'll be better than Spawn. He'll be better than Superman. Everybody's had that kind of I think everybody's had that kind of conversation.
Yeah. Don't do that. No.
As you were younger, you're like, I want to make my comic, but it was just something like superfluous in the air, like whatever, like I want to be rich, something like that. But when I came into the indie scene, and when I started seeing like the work that you're doing, the work that other people are doing, I was like, wow, this is real. Like I could actually make my own book. And so
right.
I was toying with the idea, and the first thing that I wanted to do was to improve as an artist, because I think that at the time, like a few years ago, I don't think my art was as good as it is now. I think my art's better now. I still have a whole lot more to improve, but I think I'm at least a more competent artist where I can make things appear to be what they are. So after I thought that I could make a book, I wanted to check out a bunch of comics and then read what the competition is, and nobody is taking it lightly, like which is impressive. Like people that are making books, like yourself, like many others. They're giving it everything they have. Like they're making comics look very, very professional, very, very well done. It's not just the art; it's also the story. The story also has to be well thought of. Also, at least in my opinion. And so,
right.
Because I'm an artist, but I also love to read. Like I like reading just in general. I haven't read a lot since I've started drawing again, but I've read many classics, and I like reading. I like reading. I enjoy it. And so the problem that I'm coming across as a writer is that, as a comic book writer, is that it's not as easy as I thought it was. And so there's a lot to it. Building a character, building a story, building the world, keeping an interest in the reader, dialogue, for example, things like this, captions, background information. There's so much to develop. So
right.
I'm excited to do it. And like, for example, also when I started doing my art, like I thought, okay, I'm gonna do a penciler, I'm gonna be an inker, I'm also going to be the colorist. I can do colors because I got Clip Studio. I can do everything. But coloring, for example, is another beast, and it's really difficult. I have no idea what color theory is. I have no idea about CMYK and all these other things for printing. I have no idea. So, I mean, I could spend months and months trying to learn this, but I think I'd rather leave the coloring for the colorists, the letterer for the lettering, for the letterers. And it was something that Shelby Robertson. He told me that a while back, because I told him at the time I was doing a piece for his character, and I told him like, yeah, I'm going to color it also. I've been doing a lot of coloring lately, and he said, yeah, it's good it's good to expand, but maybe concentrate on one thing first and focus on that and get better at that, and then maybe later you can venture off into other parts of art. And I thought for a moment, just for a brief moment, that he was trying to I don't know, like this my color work, and I was like, man, that sucks. But he makes a really good point, because I discovered for myself that coloring is difficult. As much as I can try to replicate what your colorist is doing, it's really difficult to do that. There's a certain understanding to colors and to making colors work together, selecting a palette that is just it's a lot of time. And I was like, nah, I stopped coloring my own work like earlier this year. I was like, I'm not getting into that. Now I'm just gonna do black and white line art, and I'm just stick to that. And but I love seeing colors. I love seeing my artwork in colors. This looks it looks great. I get blown away every time I see it. But
yeah, man, what colorists can do nowadays, it blows my mind.
Yeah, exactly. And
but also finding the right people, because you have your own style, of course. Then you have colorists with different styles, so you have to find the one that meshes with your style perfectly.
Yeah, and it's also a challenge. And yeah, so with writing, it's another thing, another aspect of the creative process. And I don't know if I'm a good writer. I'm trying my best. In my case, for example, for my book, I want to bring in an editor. I got in contact with a person who I will later reveal who's going to be the editor for my book. And I've worked on an anthology project before, and I like having those extra set of eyes on the project, because they always mention something that you never thought. Like you're so into your own project, and then when you show it to someone else, they'll say something that you had no idea, like, oh yeah, that is right. No, and I like that aspect of collaboration with comics. And and also, for example, in your case, Dave, do you use editors? Do you have an editor? Do you have someone oversee your projects? Or
no. I do the editing when other people write for me, but I don't work with editors for my own stuff. I'm not sure why. Right now, I maybe it's because I feel that I now have complete control.
Exactly.
And so I have not yet felt the need to bring in a editor.
Yeah.
I don't even show people the script. Outside the artist and the colorist, they need to know the script. Nice. And beyond that, no one else sees it. So yeah.
Sweet. Awesome. And Shadowpunk's here. What's going on, Shadowpunk? How you doing, man? Says your artwork is amazing, Dave. You're on the right channel.
Hello, Shadowpunk. The artwork you're looking at right now is made by Pau Rodriguez and Daniel Rodriguez.
Yeah. Do you have artwork on your social media? Do you have any artwork that you've done recently that you show off?
Of my own, I don't draw much anymore. I basically do designs and sketches, but I don't really share those.
Oh, nice.
I can maybe do it sometime.
No, I was just out of curiosity.
Sure, yeah.
And then Christopher said, I do both writing and art for my manga, but it helps that I co-write with one of my pals that I've created it with.
Right. Yeah.
I like that aspect of creative of the creative process, of getting to collaborate with other people. And
you have this creative energy going on with someone else. Yeah. I get that. Yeah.
And it's helped me out a lot with the projects that I've worked on, and I look forward to doing more of that. So it'd be nice. And I think that's all the questions that I have. I don't know if anybody in the chat maybe might have a question for Dave, or Dave, if you have anything else to share about your project about American Bliss.
Yeah, if people, we have digitals also. Every book you can get digital. If you like this card is drawn. It is done. It's completely finished. But when we reach 150 backers, then everyone will get one of those trading cards. It's one of these cards I have. I'm making I'm like JM Comics
Wait 1 second. Wait,
trading
sorry.
cards.
Oops. My bad.
So,
Hold on, let me make you big.
There we go. I hope the camera picks it up, but this is one of the characters, right? So
Nice.
it's front, and then you have the back is like some kind of cutesy style. It's drawn by a Dutch artist, so it has this European flavor. And then we have
Nice.
this. So we right now have 8 starting cards, and we are slowly building. So the next card is American Bliss. She will be added. She will be the 9th card. Yeah.
Nice.
And these cards are from the Perfect 10 campaign. So everyone who backs that gets all 8 of the first cards. These were stretch goals that that people unlocked.
Sweet. And 1 second. Perfect time for my mouse to.
Oh, thank you, Shadowpunk. That's awesome. Thank you very much. Yeah, and American Bliss is basically as American as it can get, man. It has 2 Americans working on it. So Odin is writing things that I can never write because I'm from the Netherlands, you know. So I thought this is a strong angle to take the comic, this comic aspect from. We have 2 covers. One cover by Pau Rodrigues of the Perfect 10 series, and then the cover A is from Eric Hodgson himself.
Yeah, this is Eric's cover.
Yeah, and this cover is based on Miss Marvel issue 1.
Nice. Yeah.
Because Eric wanted to bring this 80s feel back in this comic book.
Yeah, it looks great. I love it.
And it will also have a pinup section in the back. So you have the comic book, and then in the back we have some more artwork, which I will reveal while the campaign is going.
Nice. And yeah, so and I think that would be it for us. He's the backer number 143 years.
Oh wow! Thank you, Shadowpunk.
7 more backers, and then we get the card.
Awesome.
Nice. Sweet. Thank you very much, Shadowpunk. I had Shadowpunk on the show a while back. He's an excellent. He's also an incredibly talented artist. He does so much more than just pencils. He does inks, colors, animation, statues. He does it all.
Statues, yeah, that's.
Yeah.
I love to do statues, man, but it's expensive.
Yeah. It is quite a penny, and yes. So I think that would be it for us today. Unless, of course, Dave, if you have any other final remarks.
No, I just want to thank you, Elliot, for inviting me, for giving me this opportunity, and introducing my book to Shadowpunk and your chat. Awesome chat. Yeah, thank you all so much. Please share this. This might be just a 30-day campaign, guys. I've talked to Eric and to Mike that I think this might be 30 days and then just go in demand. So please share it if you want. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you very much, Dave, for coming on and sharing, for answering all of my questions. I would love to have you come back whenever you have your next campaign, and for the people in the chat, we're going to continue with the American Bliss marathon. We're going to have the artist Eric Hodgson on the show in 2 weeks, and then after that, hopefully, I'll be able to get Michael Odin on the show, hopefully. So let's see what happens. And then next week I'm going to have Hojo on the show. What's going on, Philip?
Excellent.
What's up, Bill? And
Hello, Zaid.
he's also another great writer. I really like his work on the Lost Pages. Good stuff.
Yeah,
Good stuff.
writing Pit. Damn it.
Yeah, he's writing Pit also. Yeah. Oh man.
What a gig.
Yeah, what a yeah, that's incredibly incredibly yeah, just an incredible opportunity to get to do that
Yeah,
and to work with
excellent.
Dale. And who can imagine to tell Dale, hey, draw this for me. Great stuff.
Yeah, well done,
But
Phil.
yeah, enjoy that, Phil. Yeah, enjoy it. We're looking forward to that project also. And yeah, so that'll be it for us today. Thank you very much for stopping by. I'll try to have more videos this coming week. I haven't put anything out since the last show. And yeah, next week we're gonna have Hojo, and that's it. So thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dave. I appreciate you coming by. And
Yeah, thank you, man.
and in regards to the kitty. In regards to the kitty. See, my mouse is freezing up, man. The wrong opportunity, wrong time. All right, thank you very much, Dave. And I'll see you later, chat. Have a great day. And I'm out.